Skills gained from AS to A2. Sound. In AS, we use You Know What by NERD for our 2-minute opening of a thriller. And we also use natural sound like breathing and crackling bushes. The sound You Know What, which is a track from the band NERD, was used just to put over the kind of ending, middle/ending of our video. We didn't have to, in any sort of way, line it up with anyone saying anything. We just had to make sure it came at the time that we wanted it to come in and make sure that it left at the time we wanted it to leave. So that was quite simple to just add the track on. Natural sound that we used, the breathing and the crackling bushes, it wasn't enhanced in any sort of way. It was just basic sound. So that was easy to do. And we didn't really develop our skills or learn many skills for that one. However, for A2, we used All Right Still, which is the track from Rough Diamonds. And this one, we had to really use our skills, and we developed skills from this because we had to put the track on and make sure that what the people in the track were saying lined up with what our group was saying when they were miming. And if we didn't do it right, then the video would have been out of sync and it wouldn't have looked right. So those are the skills that we gained there. For editing, AS, we had cutting, but it was infrequent and it was a slow cutting rate because of the type of video we created. Because it wasn't a music video like A2, we didn't have to have a lot of cuts in it, and the cutting rate was a bit infrequent. However, we could have used a bit more. For A2, our cutting was much more advanced. We had more cuts, and they had to be exactly accurate because you have to get it on when people were saying things. So, for example, when somebody was saying something and it dragged into another location, then we had to make sure our cuts was accurate to get to that location and make it look like it's going smoothly rather than cut. So that gave it a better flow. And we also had better clips to cut as well. Transitions and effects. For AS, we just used a fade in and a fade out. That was what we used. That was the fade in for the video and the fade out for the video. However, for A2, we did use our skills again because we had a basketball dunk, which was doubled. It had a double effect on it. So it looked as if the person had kind of a shadow, even though he didn't. We also used some reverse. So we got somebody at the basketball court playing around with the basketball, and we put that in reverse to make it look like the basketball was rolling by itself. We did use a fade in and fade out as well. And we also used our effects more appropriately because a lot of the effects that we used for AS, it was just straight up fade in and fade out. And in some places it could have been used better, or we could have used the fade out in other sections, or cut or shadow in other sections that we didn't use. Whereas our effects over here, we used them, I think, more appropriately to what we were doing. Credits and titles. For AS, our titles were simple, although we did a lot of research on the titles. For example, the video Inside Man. I had a look at that, and we looked at how we could use our titles, and we did use that, but it was a simple title that ran across the screen. It was kind of difficult to do because we had to make sure that it faded in and faded out at the same time, but we were able to use the skills that we gained from AS in A2 when we had the titles at the beginning, which faded out, and they were also in the style of a music video because that's quite different to a film. So we had to research that, and we had a look at that, and that was just simple fade in, fade out as well, except we had to make sure we lined it up as well properly because it wasn't one person's name across and then the next clip another person's name across. It was everybody's name in one section at the corner of the screen, which was, we had to learn how to do that basically for this one. Marketing. For AS, we just used YouTube, but it was on private and it's now been removed. So marketing there wasn't quite great. We could have accessed it, but we would have had to access it and we would have to show people. So it wasn't very available to other people. It was only available to basically us. Whereas A2, we use YouTube and we use Facebook, and the YouTube allowed us to, we made it public and it allowed us to share with anybody, so anybody can see that on YouTube now. and Facebook allowed anyone to see it and comment on it, and this meant our peers and friends, family, people our age, which is great because that's our target audience for this year. Consumption. For AS, we only used Blogger and YouTube. It didn't reach a wide audience, but the YouTube one was good because we managed to get a couple of comments on that one. Whereas A2, we developed our skills and we used Facebook, Blogger, and YouTube. And Facebook is a really good thing to use because you can get feedback from anybody, especially if you make it public. You can get feedback from people you don't necessarily hang out with or talk to every day, but you can get great feedback from them. So it was good to use Facebook, and we should have used that up here. We managed to get some feedback by interviewing people using the Max for AS. But this meant that we had to get people ourselves to come in and talk about how they felt about our video. We did use YouTube, but there was only one comment that was added by somebody that we knew because we had to access the video for them. A2 was more advanced because we asked loads of people. We filmed them talking as well on the Max. We managed to get 7 people talking on the Max, which is much better than one person last year. And we also got a comment from somebody in our class, Douglas, from Facebook, and we were able to analyze that. So we were able to get better feedback for that. The end.